End of Dragons opened up a whole new area for you to explore, and one of the things that really adds to the immersion of the world of Tyria that we saw in Heart of Thorns is a sense of danger. In End of Dragons, there are challenging meta events that apparently people are struggling to complete. The issue is that most players don't run builds optimized for open world content. They often run extremely glass cannon builds they found in their raid where they expect to be supported by other players, but they're solo and they die. Or they play their World v World roaming build and might have good burst damage and survivability, but low overall damage and not a lot of boon support. This is why I've been theory crafting one open world build for all of the 9 new elite specializations, so you all can try out the new classes while still having the self-sufficiency to survive, but also the presence to contribute, and of course all these builds prioritize some kind of fun mechanic, because after all that's the true end goal. Let's start out with the Bladesworn, which relies on landing dragon slashes for damage, and that's usually it. The large scaling on dragon slash is insane, but often it doesn't crit, so I went for the arms trait line just to get the 100% crit chance, which removes those bad feeling moments where you've charged up the skill, but it doesn't crit. Then in strength I have might makes right. You can also trade that for the other one for more damage, but this one combined with the unyielding dragon trait, which gives you might over time, heals you during your dragon slash charge. And that's cool and all, but a build that relies mostly on an 8-second cooldown can be rather uninteractive, which is why I've slotted a Frenzy Sigil on my greatsword. Frenzy Sigil reduces all equipped cooldowns on kill. Dragon Slash is usually going to kill the target, so every Dragon Slash that kills a target will be lower cooldown, allowing you to chain those kills more often and reduce the downtime between those sweet dopamine rushes. Next, the Willbender. It's a simple build with full damage traits, Zeal and Radiance. You want to upkeep Resolution and Fury because that gives you most of your crit chance, allowing you to take the dragon stats for big burst damage. And you get Resolution and Fury from your symbols, as well as successfully blocking with Aegis. And you have plenty of Aegis from Crash and Courage and Advance. These blocks, along with the focus blocks, will also heal you with the Defender rune, so you can go absolutely nuts aggressive, but then well-timed blocks that have no cast time can keep you alive. Also, make sure to use your virtues often to constantly reduce your weapon skill cooldowns. Just don't overwrite the courage buff since it's the most important to your survival. Vindicator has access to tons of boons if you take the Imperial dodge. Yes, I know the death drop does tons more damage, but it's just on dodge, and with the boon extension from the Imperial dodge, protection, and might, you can sustain in fights way longer. You want to go for dragon stats and roiling mists in invocation to maximize your burst potential. Then you get swiftness from swapping to the agility sigil on sword, fury and regeneration from swapping legends, quickness from scavenger burst in the Luxon stance or phase traversal in Shiro stance, then might and protection from dodging. So essentially, to upkeep all these boons, you just swap weapons, swap legends, and dodge as often as possible. Then just fill in the gaps with scavenger burst and phase traversal, swap to Kurzak stance if you need more sustain, and then just use all of your damaging skills. Specter is a monster for open world single target damage. Much of the sustain is just built into the spec, so long as you have vitality. So I take the Ritualist stats in case I want to support allies, but Trailblazer works too for even more selfish sustain. I take Scepter Pistol with all the Torment traits and just spam the 3 skill to generate Shroud as fast as possible, then enter into Shroud when initiative is depleted, and leave Shroud after spamming all your skills, then repeat. That will heal you plenty to survive most situations, even ones you really shouldn't be in. But this process is a bit slow for smaller mobs, so I take Sleight of Hand with a Celerity Sigil on the Scepter, and the Haste utility for high quickness uptime to speed up the process. Mechanist goes full berserker to give as much aggressive stats to the mech as possible, then goes tools for lower cooldowns on the mech abilities and explosives for the big damage synergy traits that are given to the mech, since the Jade Dynamo trait allows the mech to trigger them as well. Then you just let the mech do all the work and tank for you while you sit back and shoot rifle shots and grenades from afar. However, the mech is really the protagonist here and you should be tanking for them. So take the Golemancer runes for a second mech, which will tank for your mech. Job done. The Bunny Thumper Untamed build uses all of the CC skills possible like Spike Trap, Hilt Bash, and Spores in combination with the trait that reduces all cooldowns by 4 seconds whenever you disable a target to just spam skills with the quickness gained on disabling when you are unleashed. In Greatsword, you can alternate between Maul and any CC skill to keep spamming out Mauls, and then when you run out of CCs, you swap to Hammer and use both the CCs while your pet is unleashed on the Hammer 3 and 5, then swap yourself to be unleashed again and use the Ambush skill and the 2 skill, then you can swap back to Greatsword and continue alternating between Maul and all of your CCs. The base health of Untamed combined with durability runes and Marauder gear gives you a lot of health, and the constantly reduced recharges also allows you to use your defensive skills more often. One cool trick is that you can use the Lightning Wyvern's Lightning Field with your Greatsword 3 swoop to get a Dazing Leap, which will also count as a CC. Virtuoso has the potential for the best synergy with the Celestial gear set, because there are so many traits that transfer one stat into another, as well as the great hybrid synergy of the Dueling, Illusions, and Virtuoso trait lines. Stalking Blades is quick, because dealing bleeds gives you blades to shatter the F2, but then the F2 is a blade which bleeds, giving you more blades. So the more blades you stock, the more blades you can stock. This feedback loop means an aggressive playstyle can be very bursty and a lot of fun. Use the Dagger Pistol set to set up combos with the F2 and Pistol 4, then shatter the F1 after, and if your shatters are on cooldown or you are pressured, go into Scepter Torch to kite and get to a safe distance. There isn't much healing, but the Either Feast heal does give around 9k healing if you use it with full blades stocked. This Hammer Catalyst build can be difficult to get used to, but it has really high damage and synergy with the Elemental Empowerment that increases your stats incredibly. And you get this by doing combos or disabling enemies. You'd survive mostly through the long-term sustain of Signet of Restoration and attunement swapping, but can also use the Water 4 and 5 in the Water Jade Sphere, as well as the Elite Glyph and Water Attunement for a big burst heal. Catalyst is all about combo finishers and fields, and it can be hard to time these together, which is why the arcane utilities, Arcane Blast and Arcane Wave, are nice because they're instant cast finishers that you can combine with your Jade Sphere. The hammer skills can also be overwhelming to understand what each and every skill does, so I'll detail a very simplified rotation here. You want to always use the 2 skills at the end of your attunement rotation so that you swap during their cast times since they're longer casts. Always use your 5 or 4 skill in the Jade Sphere because those are combos, and if you don't have a combo, then fill the gap with an arcane skill to get auras. Always tap the 3 skill when you get into an attunement to keep the orbs rotating around you. Use the 3 skill again when you have all 4 rotating orbs around you. Prioritize using the Jade Sphere when in air and earth attunement for the quickness and protection, and prioritize using arcane skills while in earth attunement because the immobilizes will count towards your elemental empowerment generation. So if you thought Elementalist was a bit difficult, here's a Harbinger build that uses all minions. The idea is as simple as it gets. You stay in Harbinger Shroud, which gives quickness to nearby allies, so you just buff up your minions and spam skills while the minions lifesteal for you with quickness. You may have more minions than you can give quickness to, but you can constantly blast the bone minions for more life force anyways. Other than that, just make sure that the minions are up and you're in Shroud. Don't overthink it, because then you're missing the point of minion necro. And with that, all 9 classes with open world builds are available for you to go out and explore Cantha. And remember that you can change these how you like, but this is just how I optimize them for myself. Other things may work better for you, and if you want to see the full details of these builds and more open world builds, check out the link in the description or go to guildgen.com, where you'll find that and much more. If you do like this video, please give it a like, consider supporting my channel by subscribing, becoming a patron, or simply sharing the video. And I'll see you all next time.